Okay, good evening YouTube, good evening guys, and welcome to this next episode of the FPL Family. This is episode number 22. This is our Game Week 11 preview video, so we're going to be doing all our usual stuff. We're going to be looking through all the fixtures. We're going to be looking at what the Jammy Picks, what the community have said. You've got some Jammy Picks lined up for this evening?
Obviously.
Of course. We're going to be doing captain picks, looking at our teams and all that good stuff that all you guys are absolutely used to. But first things first, how are you? Are you well now? Are you a bit less snotty?
I'm a bit less coffee.
A bit less coffee. Good. Okay, good. Because you soldiered through that last stream. There's no doubt about it. You were not feeling your best, were you? There's no doubt.
I was pretty much feeling my worst, I think. No, I'm a bit better now. My voice is still a bit funny at times.
And did you go out and get your Lemsip and all your
I did.
strepsils and stuff that the guys super chatted about?
Yes.
Excellent. Good.
I drank copious amounts of hot chocolate at the game on Monday night. And didn't shout.
You didn't shout. Well, wasn't that much to shout about, was there, at the game? Give us your view on it.
I don't think it wasn't that bad. It was just the pitch was just
awful.
dreadful.
Yeah, terrible.
You can't play properly on a pitch when it's in that kind of condition. For either side, City were the same. City weren't their usual self.
There's actually a few players that didn't have a very good game. Like Benjamin Mendy had a terrible game. Yeah. And there's people, is he going to be dropped? He's going to be rested and rotated.
Sissoko likes to play on a dodgy pitch.
Well, this is it. And I think this was being said on Twitter, actually, is that it was a Sissoko type of game. It wasn't really a pitch that really lent itself much to football. And let's face it, he can't really play football. So he's not very good. But what he's good at is getting about, he's energetic, he'll get a tackle in, and he actually played pretty well. Well.
To be fair, I enjoyed the game. It was a good game to watch. It was a very strange atmosphere. It was a Remembrance Day game for us because we're not there this weekend and or in a couple of weekends' time, and then obviously with everything that had gone on at Leicester over the weekend,
sure.
It was a very strange atmosphere at Wembley. But it was a good game. It was enjoyable, even if the result... I think we were quite unlucky not to get something out of the game. I don't think we deserved to win the game, but I think...
Lamella missed a hell of a chance, didn't he?
Right in front of me, yeah.
Yeah, and it really bobbled along that dodgy old pitch, didn't it? Again, if we had a decent pitch there, he would have scored that, I think.
I think had we had a decent pitch, Aguero would have put a couple away, and there'd have been... It would have been a different game altogether.
Yes, I think you're probably right. So, guys, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining us. We've got, as usual, all of that good stuff that we mentioned before, as well as the polls. So go check out the little eye in the top right-hand corner, just above my head. The polls this evening have been, again, provided by you guys, the community. So thank you for responding to my tweets earlier and coming up with your questions. Now, all of the questions, and indeed the options in the polls, have come from the community. So there's some frankly, quite shady looking options in some of these, particularly the first question, which is about which is the best central defender to have in FPL right now.
Right.
So Virgil van Dijk, Laporte, Rudiger, Stones, or Nathan Ake. Now, I haven't come up with those options. I haven't put Nathan Ake in there. That was a question from the community.
What do you like about Ake? He's been playing really well lately.
You'd have him in there, would you?
Why not? Bournemouth are playing well.
Listen, yeah. Somebody wanted to ask that question, so look, he's in there.
in the last 3 games.
Okay, very good. For Bournemouth?
Yeah.
Have they got 3 clean sheets in a row? Yeah. Okay, very good. So that's the first question in the polls, guys. Go check that out. Is who's the best central defender in FPL? And I've forgotten to written down who it was in Twitter that provided that question. I think that was Andy Martin. So Andy, if you're in, thank you for that. The others, I haven't got a clue. I haven't got a hope in hell's chance of remembering. Best 5.5 to 6.0 midfielder right now in FPL. Fraser, Barkley, who we're going to talk about a bit tonight. Knockaert, Schürrle or Goodmanson. So take your pick from that 5. If you had to drop one, who would you drop? Richarlison or Maddison? I didn't want to put this thing in there about neither or both, because if you had to drop one, guys, who would you drop out of those 2? And then, as usual, we do our Game Week 11 captain poll with the usual suspects in there. Aguero, Salah, Hazard, Arnautovic this week, or Sterling. So out of those 5, who do you fancy as captain? What are we going to say? Is it going to be who is going to be your captain, or who do you think is the best captain? Who do you think is the best captain, I think? So if you haven't got Aguero, but you think he's the best option for the game week, vote for Aguero. Yeah, who is the best captain? Let's go. So who you think is the best captain choice, regardless of whether you've got him or not, guys. So that is the polls. Top right-hand corner of the stream. Check out the little eye. And yeah, answer the questions. We'll review them at the end of the stream. Let's say hello to a few people. I've just noticed the screen. I've moved this to the bottom right-hand corner, the little logo about the Game Week 11 preview, which I'm fine with, but it sort of blocks out the... I need to get the shirt in a bit more, don't I? Well, it's either that or it blocks out my face. Which would you rather have in, the face or the shirt?
Your face is much more beautiful than the shirt.
Be careful how you answer. Okay, careful how you answer.
Shirt is boring. Shirt is boring. You need green.
You need your horrible Spurs green. Did you play on that in the week?
No,
you were at home, weren't you?
Horrible. What is wrong with you, man? We played in white because we were at home.
Let's say hello to a few people. FPL X-Man is here. How are you doing? Welcome to Brila is here. It's a new name to the live stream. So welcome to welcome. Very kind of you to join. FPL Tips is here. How are you doing, Tips? Vinyl Richie is here. Can you make it bigger, Lee? Thank you very much, Richard, for that.
Yes, we can.
And then put it over my face as well. Or both of our faces. You just have us talking in the background, potentially.
Excuse me, you speak for yourself.
I know. They want to see you. They don't want to see me, clearly, right?
They always want to see a Spurs badge, right?
Joe Ogier is here. I think it's Ogier or Ogier. Hopefully Joe have said that correctly. He says good day also. I don't know if he's tuning in from Australia, potentially. And actually, Joe, I think Joe was one of the guys who responded to my tweet earlier, and he has provided one of those questions. Now, in classic Lee from FPL Family polls,
don't know which one.
I don't know which one it was, but one of those questions I think was Joe. So, Joe, thank you for responding to the tweet earlier. Andrew Yee, cover the shirt. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you very much. James Morgan is in. How you doing, James? Nimfria's here. How you doing, Nim? Hope you're well. Sean Norton is here. Defo More Sam with an emoji that's got the little hearts as eyes. Now, guys, come on. I thought we were past the whole Team Sam thing. I thought there was a bit more of hashtag Team Lee love going on, but clearly not. Clearly not.
Well, I love you, so that's what matters, right?
Good. All right. Well, you're hashtag Team Lee, are you then?
Well, no. Obviously.
No, correct. Yeah, exactly. Right. Thanks.
No.
Eric,
I'm sure you have got some people in Team Lee.
I'm sure there's some. Yeah,
I mean, we are level pegging now, so.
Well, we're on exactly the same points, aren't we, actually? Exactly the same points. So
sharing the love, aren't we?
Well, that is because you keep copying my moves.
Now, hang on. You said this before, and I actually failed to understand how this is possible, because if you look at our teams, they are entirely different.
You're not bitter or defensive about it at all when I say that.
Because you say I'm copying you, but I can't. I fail to see how.
I love how that touches a nerve every single time. FPL Tips, hashtag Team Lee. Yes. Get in there. Go on, Tips.
Right, so you got one.
One. Thank you, Tips. Yeah, thank you. MU Fan TV is here. How are you doing? Lee, I'm here for you and for Sam's stats. Well, we've got a few stats later on.
He loves my stats.
Are they good stats or are they completely irrelevant stats? Because...
Excuse me, my stats are never irrelevant.
Oh, come now. Some of the stats you've been pitching in the last few weeks have been absolutely irrelevant as hell. But they're the ones that get... That's what that is why MU Fan TV is here.
It was highly relevant that Man City haven't lost at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. That was highly relevant because therefore you buy their assets. By the way, that is still the case. So and
actually one that was copied by the official Chelsea Twitter account. They logged into your Instagram and copied you.
They've copied me talking about Barkley.
Yeah.
So
very good. Hannah Z is in. How are you doing, Hannah? Jatin is here. He says, team hashtag FPL Family.
Oh,
there you go. That's the one, isn't it? That's one. Very diplomatic. Very good indeed. Notorious Nerd is here. He says hashtag Stato Sam. Very good. JC says Sam's about to lose her voice. You've gone so high with that rant against me there. You almost
did I? Could only dogs hear me at that point?
Possibly, yes, possibly. But at least we can hear you in proper full stereo sound this week. Whereas on Sunday it was a little bit croaky, wasn't it, to say the least?
Well, you basically had to finish my sentences for me.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. When I watched Sunday back, I did a lot of flipping talking, didn't I? And I'm not surprised that some of you guys were like,
so long.
It was why it was long.
Talk.
Yeah,
you just talked.
Right. You're absolutely right. Quick shout out to Rashid Albricki. Thank you for joining, Rashid. He has sponsored the stream with a super chat of $1.99. Thank you very much for joining. He's saying, I don't have any City players. Who do I get? Well, listen, that is a long answer. So we're going to cover the City game a bit later on, Rashid, and we're absolutely going to come to that and who we need to be covering.
But you definitely need some.
You definitely need some. At home to Southampton, I would suggest, given that, as El Stato would say, they haven't scored in 100 years, you probably want a defender. If not a double up, but we shall come to that a bit later on in terms of who you should have on the Manchester City game. So, Rashid, thank you for sponsoring the stream. Guys, as ever, the super chat is open, not a prerequisite for being here, but we'd love you to support the stream if you wanted to do that. Josh Oram is here, he of multiple wooden spoon fame.
Oh, Josh.
Josh is here. Didn't win the wooden spoon actually last week. It was won by somebody else, but we'll cover that a bit later on when we look at the leagues. We also had a manager of the month. Melissa, right? Melissa, yeah. So we'll thank you to Melissa.
Beautiful Barbados, I believe.
Yeah, lives in Barbados. How good's that?
I know.
How good's that? I was commuting in the day that I contacted Melissa to say, well done, a manager of the month. I just got off the tube getting into Moorgate where I work in town, and it was about 3 degrees. I had my big coat on, I had a bit of a sniffle, and she texted me saying, she DM'd me on Twitter saying, "Oh, it was great in Barbados. It's about 25 degrees." I said, "Thanks, Melissa."
Yeah, because when I first spoke to her, I thought she was in Australia because her profile picture was outside the Sydney Opera House, and I thought, oh, what a great place to be.
Well,
Another Australian Manager of the Month, but no, Barbados.
Unbelievable.
Amazing.
I think she's in actually. So
Hi, Melissa.
I think Mel Brooks is Melissa Brooks. So Melissa, thank you for joining. Manager of the Month for October. Manager of the Month.
Great.
And she says you can visit any time. So there we go.
Oh,
perfect.
Brilliant.
Absolutely perfect.
Excellent.
Very,
When
very
are we going?
Very good. And as Fast and Bulbous actually says, Jamal also lives in Barbados. So there we go.
Oh, we can have a little FPL family outing.
FPL family outing to Barbados. Can you imagine?
Can you book the flights?
Absolutely love it. No. Francis Bilardi, so thank you for joining, Francis. He says, I only have one Man City player. So
do
it's
I.
interesting to know who that is. You've only got one, and it's the goalkeeper.
It's the
So
goalkeeper, yeah.
we need to talk about that later on. So guys, thank you for joining. As ever, 169 of you in. So guys, thank you for joining. If you like what we do, go and hit the like button. As ever, on the left-hand side, there's our Twitter page, at FPL Family on Twitter. For those of you that aren't following us over there, go hit the follow button. And we're also at FPL Family on Instagram, which is what you manage. So if you want to go and chat with Sam over on Instagram, then you can do that too.
And Facebook.
And indeed, Facebook. Shouldn't absolutely forget about the Facebook. So the Facebook is up and running. It's live. It's there. Not our most prolific social media platform, but it's there. And it exists. It's getting better. It's improving slowly.
I am better. I am much better with Facebook lately.
Yes. Okay, very good.
I mean, I'm still not great, but I am better.
Very good. All right, let's crack on with the show then. So, where shall we start? Now, I've noticed in these live streams, we've been going on for goodness knows how long. They've been like an hour and a half, right? So, I don't know if we want to go on for quite so long tonight. We want to try and keep it to the hour-ish, I think. And I appreciate it's my fault a lot of the time. I appreciate that. So let's go and target the games that are going to deliver us the FPL points. Now, I don't want to talk about Huddersfield versus Fulham very much, other than what you might do with Mitrovic. But let's talk about...
Got some stats, so...
This is the thing, you've got so much prep going on. Right? So,
got some stats on that game.
Go on then. I would love to know where you would like to start with these games this weekend. There's some cracking ties, actually. So some good ties. Some good home wins, I think, this week. I can see a few home wins.
I don't really like to start with your team, but I kind of feel like that's the game of the weekend, really.
Saturday evening, Arsenal v Liverpool.
No, it's not Saturday evening, I think you'll find. It's the 5:30 game. We are the Saturday evening game.
Do you know what? I've just noticed that. So we are the evening, but you are the...
You're early evening.
So we're
late afternoon.
We're the out game. You're the out game.
Out.
You're out at Molineux.
You've been watching too much Apprentice, you have.
A bit Mickey Flanagan. So you're the out game at 7:45 at Molineux on a Saturday. Has that been done before? We ever had that before?
Yeah, we have had it before. It just means you get out and watching the X Factor.
Good. I'm happy about that. Very happy about that. So we've got a lunchtime game and then 2 games. So it's a super Saturday on Saturday. Starting with Bournemouth Man United, which we'll come to a bit later on. But then at 5:30, the first of 2 evening games is Arsenal versus Liverpool at the Emirates. Now, what do you make of the current setup at Arsenal, given that they played in the Carabao Cup last night? They went through, I think, maybe 2 or 3-1 against Blackpool, I think they did. Quite a significant red card, though, in that game. Did you catch any of the highlights? What did you make of what was going on?
I didn't catch the highlights. I stupidly assumed that because he was sent off in the Carabao Cup game, he'd be suspended for our game, but he's not. He's suspended for your game.
Yes, because they count in the league, right?
Counts. Yeah. And I, in my head, that hadn't kind of registered with me. I guess because with Lloris's Champions League one, obviously it's just a Champions League.
Sure.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Sure.
So yeah, they've got a few issues now, haven't they, ahead of your game? Lots of kind of missing players.
Well, they definitely have. There's a bit of I'm not sure if I'd call it an injury crisis, but they have got a lot of injuries. Now, the guys that I speak to that are Arsenal fans in my office, and I work in London, as you guys will know, so there's a lot of Arsenal fans in my office. My boss is actually a big Arsenal fan. And they are convinced that Liverpool are going to bring them back down to earth after this great run that they've had. Now, I appreciate the winning run came to an end against Palace. They got the draw there. But the Arsenal fans that I speak to think they're going to get absolutely spanked by Liverpool.
Well, they're
not confident at all.
The stats would suggest that is true.
Give us some stats. Stato Sam, go for it.
Right. So Arsenal haven't won versus Liverpool in the last 7 games. Firmino scored and assisted in each of his last 3 Premier League games against Arsenal.
Very good. It is normally a high-scoring affair. That's a fact, yeah.
Last 5 Premier League games between these two sides have produced 27 goals That's an average of 5.4 per game.
Yeah, I can believe
so
that.
So it will be high scoring. And Klopp is unbeaten in 5 Premier League games versus Arsenal.
Wow, okay.
So the stats suggest that
so you
Liverpool
can see why the Arsenal fans aren't confident, because those that go to the Emirates regularly are expecting goals and are possibly expecting
the thing is
goals against.
The way that your two team, the way that Arsenal play more so than Liverpool, but they will go out to attack as the best form of defence, because actually that's where their problems are at the moment,
sure.
right? So they will go out to attack you. That suits you because that will leave space, so you'll attack them back. Your defence are a much more solid unit than the Arsenal ones are, so I think it's a Liverpool victory, but I'd see it being high scoring. I actually don't necessarily see, I've got Robertson. I don't think Robertson will keep a clean sheet this weekend, but I'll play him on the basis that I can see him getting attacking points in that game.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? I wrote down quite a lot in terms of what their injuries look like and how that's going to affect their setup. Now, something that, in my opinion, did not work against Palace was putting Granit Xhaka at left back. That did not work, and of course he changed that. He obviously spotted that, and I'm full of praise for Emery. If he sees something that's not right, or he sees an opportunity to change the team tactically, he does take it and he does act, and I like that about him. But Xhaka at fullback did not work because there's obviously injuries to Kolasinac and Monreal. And actually, I think I said left back earlier, but I think I mean right back. So anyway, let's just say at fullback, right? At fullback, Xhaka did not work. So who plays there? And I noticed that actually Maitland-Niles returned in the cup. So he hasn't played in the league for Arsenal since game week 1, when I think they played Manchester City, and I think he got injured in that game, and he's not really come back since then. So Maitland-Niles could be the only option in there if he doesn't go for Granit Xhaka, which I can't believe he's not going to learn his lesson. Because up against that Liverpool attack, you've got to think that Xhaka's going to have a bit of a hard time. So if Xhaka plays there, then let's assume that he does put Xhaka there, then who does he play in centre defensive midfield as well? Because he's got Guendouzi now that's now suspended. El Neni, I think, is still injured. What else are in here? Bellerin is still injured. So, where's Liechtenstein? So all in all, there's a hell of a lot of injuries going on in Arsenal right now, and I'm not sure who he's going to play at left back. It's probably going to be Xhaka.
Sorry, the cat's going mental.
There's a cat going mental with a toy over here. You should have seen him when the trick-or-treaters turned up last night. The cat was going absolutely crazy. So who are they going to play in those full-back positions? They're going to be weaker there, and they're going to be weaker in centre-mid as well because of no Guendouzi. So you've got to think he's got to play Xhaka there because of no Guendouzi, and he's crap at left back. So who's he going to play at left back? So it's got to be Maitland-Niles, isn't it? I can't see any other player that he's going to play. So Neil Craston is saying Torreira at centre defensive midfielder. That's a good point. So he's got Torreira in there as well. Either way, at fullback, I still think they're weak. Now, teams with weak fullbacks, that is where Liverpool's strength is, right? That is where Liverpool will shine. That's the Salah and the Mane hotspot, isn't it? So is there a case for, absolutely you want to play your Liverpool assets in every game, never mind it's Arsenal, whoever. Is there a case for captaining Salah or Mane this week? Salah in particular?
Maybe. I mean, the kind of the statistics are there. Everything kind of supports Liverpool victory in that game, and a high scoring one at that. It's just that for me, when you look at the fixtures that Chelsea have got and the fixtures that Man City have got, it just feels like an unnecessary risk to captain a Liverpool player, because the other guys have got...
Is it such a risk? I mean,
well,
when is captaining Salah a risk?
Well, maybe, but you've got Aguero up against or at home to Burnley.
Okay.
So why would you take a punt on Salah away at Arsenal when you could have a City player at home to Burnley,
Okay. Well, FPL Skinny Panda is saying Ben. And that's
love
Ben,
that name.
It's great, isn't it? Skinny Panda. He says Ben says Kolasinac, and by Ben he means Ben Dinnery. So if you guys aren't following Ben Dinnery on Twitter, go follow the guru of all things FPL injuries. Ben Dinnery says Kolasinac is close to a return and may start if he clears the fitness test. So it could be, and Andrew Makado is actually saying Monreal will be back. So... Okay, so they may have some players coming back from injury, but these guys are not going to be match fit, are they? These guys are going to be coming back from injury. Just because they're better than Maitland-Niles doesn't mean that they're match fit, in my opinion. So, long story short, I've waffled a hell of a lot there, but my view is that Arsenal got problems at fullback. And that is where Liverpool will hit them. So I'm expecting, I'm hoping and expecting for an away win. I think we'll get some joy in that game.
I think from a neutral point of view, it's going to be a great game to watch because it should be high scoring, and therefore, what you really want from that game is attacking Arsenal and attacking Liverpool. That's the ideal situation.
Well, I would love Arsenal to come and attack us because I think that just leaves space in behind. And there's a stat here that says in the last 4 game weeks, only Burnley have shipped more big chances than Arsenal. That's incredible, isn't it? Absolutely incredible.
Is that right?
Yeah, and Burnley have played some teams as well, by the way. Got battered by Man City a couple of weeks ago, if you remember. And Chelsea. So they've played some big sides. So it's not inconceivable that they're at the bottom of that list. But they're next on that list for big chances conceded.
Behind teams like Cardiff and Fulham?
Absolutely, it's Arsenal.
Wow.
Yeah, it's Arsenal. So they have shipped big chances. So the fact that they've got Aubameyang coming off the bench and getting a couple of goals, that's sort of papering over the cracks a little bit. Yeah. Potentially. So if you're going to give Liverpool big chances, you're going to give that front 3 big chances, I can see some joy for the Reds. I want to touch wood and all the rest of it, but I can see that there's something in it for Liverpool in that game. So any other thoughts on that game before we move on?
No.
All right.
Play your attacking assets for sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
Should we talk about the Sunday games? Because that's where the captain options probably are.
Go for it. So if you're not going to captain Salah or Mane in that Liverpool game, then yeah, you probably want to look at either City at home or Chelsea at home. City at home to Southampton, Chelsea at home to Palace. Let's talk about those 2 games. Let's talk about Sunday all in all. First things first, is Hazard fit for that game?
He's back in training, isn't he?
Yes,
There's pictures of him looking very happy with himself, doing lunges in training.
Good.
Which
That's what we want to see,
suggest that he is therefore fit and available.
Good. Okay.
So yeah, I think so. And at the moment, my captain's armband is on Hazard. So let's hope.
Interesting. Okay, and from a Chelsea perspective, he's rested in the cup tie, so they had what was actually a cracking game. Certainly the first half was amazing against Derby County. Was it last night or the night before? The night before, I think. Or maybe last night.
No, last night. It was a fantastic game.
And, fair play to, Frank Lampard. He had an absolutely unbelievable reception, didn't he? It was like a real homecoming for him, and the crowd was fantastic. And it was a really, really emotional game for him.
Everybody was singing his name, weren't they?
Brilliant game. And Derby actually a bit unlucky not to go through, in my opinion. I don't think...
Could have got a draw easily, as Frank said. After
I mean, 2 own goals in the first half. It's incredible. And they hit back from both of those. And then, a bit unlucky with one off the post towards the end. But I don't think that Sarri will be looking at the back 4 that he played last night and thinking any of those guys are going to be making a case to get into that first 11. So Cahill and Christensen were not good at all in my opinion in that game, not at all.
Well, it's Christensen, right?
Indeed, but Hazard was indeed rested for that. I don't think he even made the bench, or did he? No, even an appearance. Okay, so he was rested completely. Pictured in training on Tuesday, so happy days. I think we can all expect and hope for a decent haul from Hazard at the weekend. Another player that has got everybody talking on Twitter this week, and the scouts are talking about it, it's on every pod that I listen to, is Mr. Ross Barkley. Now, I don't know what else we can say, because most of the guys that tune into this will be listening to all of those other things that we've just mentioned, and you're all on Twitter talking to me about him all the time. What else can we say about Ross Barkley that's not been said? I mean...
that he's the first Englishman since Frank Lampard.
Stop it with those ridiculous stats. Stop it with that ridiculous stats. I'm not having that anymore.
What is there to say about Ross Barkley? I think Ross Barkley is a difficult one because I really fancy a cheeky punt on Ross Barkley, although it's not really a cheeky punt anymore, to be honest, because he's performed for the last few game weeks now, so it's no longer a punt.
Unused sub, by the way, in that Carabao Cup game. So Kovacic played 90 minutes and Barkley didn't play any.
I just think for me, and you'll all know this if you watch us regularly, I really hate having three of my spots in my 15 taken up by one team. It
makes me feel a bit uncomfortable.
I just don't feel comfortable with it. I feel very uneasy because even with it being Chelsea, there is always a chance of a duff game where it all goes a bit wrong.
But can I just stop you there for a second? There ain't any duff games for Chelsea coming up. Look at these games: Palace at home, Everton at home, Spurs away, which is clearly tricky, Fulham at home, and Wolves away, which is potentially a bit tricky. But 3 of the next 4 at home against Palace, Everton, and Fulham. If you're going to triple up on Chelsea for any period of time over the course of this season, it's got to be in those 3 games, is it not?
Yes, but are you convinced that Ross Barkley is going to start in all of those games?
Well, listen, I think I am, because we sat here on the previous stream, and I think it was Vinyl Richie or one of the Chelsea fans that regularly joins us made a really nice comment, and it stuck with me. It's a really nice comment about the fact that Kovacic he handles the ball very well. He's very neat and tidy on the ball, and he's good at sort of like playing the pass that might unlock defences.
Yeah.
Barkley's a battering ram, right? He's in the middle there, and he just provides that directness that they need. And I noticed there's a lot of stats knocking about right now about the amount that Barkley dribbles versus how much he passes. He used to be a dribbler, Barkley. If you go back a few years ago, before his injuries and before he kind of, in my eyes, matured a bit as a player, he used to dribble a lot and dribble in down the alleyways and get into trouble and lose it, and his ball retention was not good. I've noticed he gets it and gives it a lot quicker now in the game, and I think that suits the Sarri ball system, and that was typified actually in the goal that he provided for Morata in the last game week. But he got it, received it on his right foot and passed it with his left foot in like the space of a millisecond and put Morata through. It was a very, very good assist. And I think that Sarri wants to play Barkley in those games where teams are going to sit deep, they're going to not go out to attack Chelsea too much. It's the lesser teams, if you want, going to Stamford Bridge, keeping it tight. He's going to use Barkley as that battering ram. Well, Palace at home, Everton at home, Fulham at home. There's 3 really good candidates for using the Barkley battering ram.
Maybe. I was talking on the stream on Sunday about Ross Barkley and how I really fancied a punt on him, and I still do really fancy a punt on him, but I keep looking at Hazard and Alonso and thinking, I kind of feel like that's enough, Chelsea. Like those two, they are quality FPL assets. Do I need another Chelsea, or could I invest that 5.8 now better in another team or in another way? And that's what I haven't yet decided.
And actually, FPL Chancellor in the live chat is saying a scary number of people, and this is a real Halloween stat right here, a scary number of people have transferred Hazard to Barkley this week. Now, in my mind, that is just crazy. I mean, I know people are getting a bit wary of Hazard and his yellow flag, but for goodness sake, just look on Twitter. He's in training, he's going to play, and 2 or 3 weeks ago, we're saying he's essential. You've got to have him.
He is essential.
So I appreciate you're going to save 6 million or whatever by not having Hazard, but you can't lose Hazard for Barkley, can you? Can Barkley cover Hazard? No way.
Well. So if you look at Hazard over the last 3 game weeks, he has been performing very, very well, but he's been performing that way in a team that's not had Hazard. Yeah. So when Hazard is playing with Barkley, probably this weekend, what impact does that have on Barkley? And that's the bit that gets me, because I'm looking at that thinking, but Hazard is going to take a lion's share of that possession and that attacking momentum from Barkley, surely.
But he is a popular transfer in, as you guys can see from the tweet that I've just pulled up from Fantasy Football Fix. So if you're not following those guys on Twitter, go do that straight away. Maddison to Barkley looking pretty popular. Fraser to Barkley looking pretty popular. Knockout to Barkley, which I can sort of understand. Richarlison to Barkley. So a lot of people getting on Barkley. I can see why, but in the live chat, a lot of you guys, particularly the Chelsea fans, are telling me to calm down a little bit. I can see a few of you that were saying some things like, "Well, he's not nailed on, right? You're basically just buying into another rotation risk at a time when we're coming up to sort of the Christmas period, etc. When you do not want rotation risks, you want people as nailed on as possible. So." Yeah. I can see why you guys are trying to calm me down a little bit. I really do like the idea of a Barkley punt. And actually, Amwinit, you've taken the words out of my mouth. It's absolutely the right thing to say. I was just about to say it feels like my Walcott move. And Amwinit's just said Barkley's Walcott version 2.0. It feels a bit like when we went on the FPL show and I sat there and I stupidly, and I will have to now record this comment and put it on my gravestone, is that Walcott was a no-brainer for bringing in for Richarlison. Now, how wrong can I be? And at the minute, it feels like Barkley is also a bit of a, he's in form, he's got the fixtures, Sarri seems to like him, he's been rested in the Carabao Cup. Get him in. 5 point whatever he is for, get him in.
But Hazard's back and you've got that covered.
But, yeah, I just feel like, and as Neil Cresson is saying, people are chasing points. So look, the fact that he's got 67 minutes per shot, which I think is top in his price bracket, 40 minutes per chance created as well, which is third in his price bracket after Fraser and Maddison. So he's actually not just getting goals, he's creative. He's got the lot, guys. He's got the lot. So I can see why he's popular this week. But am I going to go for him with Hazard and Alonso in my team? I'm probably not, I'm probably not.
I think it's the right decision.
Go on then. So talk us through the rest of your thinking with the Chelsea game, and in particular the Man City and Southampton game. Let's talk about that too.
Okay, so do you know there's been no draws in the last 14 Premier League matches between these two sides?
Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is why MU Fan TV is here. Just say that again, just for his benefit.
No draws in the last 14 games.
Wow.
In the Premier League.
It's completely irrelevant. I love
Chelsea
it.
have won 10 of the games, which suggests that
Fabulous.
Chelsea are going to win. However, the last two of the last 3 matches at Stamford Bridge, Palace have beaten Chelsea.
Oh, have they really?
So
okay.
There is potential for an upset in the stats. However, the form and everything else suggests not.
Okay, all right. So that's the Chelsea game then. I'm going home winning that game for sure. I think Palace looked a lot better against Arsenal in the last game, but there's no doubt about it. But going to Stamford Bridge is an altogether different proposition. They are better away from home than they are at home, Palace, but that's not saying much because they are absolutely dire at home. Before the Arsenal game, they had not scored at all. And they still haven't scored from open play because the 2 goals against Arsenal were penalties, weren't they?
Yeah,
so I'm not convinced that they're going to get anything out of the Sarri ball juggernaut, and I'm expecting Mr. Hazard and Mr. Barkley to do pretty well out of that game. Keeping Alonso?
Is the Pope Catholic?
Yeah, keeping him, aren't you? There's still some people getting rid of him, you know.
What?
Yeah,
People are getting rid of Alonso?
Not many. In the last few game weeks, people want Mendy, right? People want Mendy. So I'm sticking on Alonso for sure. Let's talk about City versus Southampton then. So I've just mentioned the fact that some people, not many, but some, are looking to get Alonso out for Mendy. Not a move that I would advocate necessarily, but the Mendy in move is a move I would advocate. And as a Mendy non-owner, what are your thoughts on Mendy then in particular?
So in some ways I cover Mendy with Edison because any clean sheet that Mendy has, obviously Edison will have the same. My fear with Mendy is always that irritating assist in the last minute, or
you're still not over that, are you?
Not over that. I'm very bitter.
I'm not over the Edison 2 bonus points from the other night. What did he do to get 2 bonus points?
Stopped us winning the game.
1 save, I think, didn't he? And at the same time, Mendy lost. Mendy was on 2 bonus points.
Well, Mendy didn't deserve 2 bonus points.
That is true.
If anything, Mendy deserved a -5 for being so terrible and actually lashing out at our players in a disgraceful fashion. So I wanted him to be sent off just to annoy you.
But you're fine about it.
But I'm fine about it. Right, so let's talk about the game. What do I think about Mendy? Do I want him?
He hasn't blanked yet. The guy hasn't blanked. Okay. He's absolutely essential.
So my thinking with Man City is this. I would like a City forward or a City midfielder more than I would like another City defender. But
really?
It goes back into this cycle of, well, who on earth do I pick? So I've, spoiler alert, I've done a transfer this week.
Have you already?
Yeah, in order to free up...
already?
Yeah, I'll talk about it later. But I've done it...
You're so sneaky, it's unreal. Go on.
I only did it while you were at work today.
Okay, all right.
I've done it to free up a bit of money because
And it's not Mendy?
No, it's not Mendy.
Oh, yikes.
I've done it to free up a little bit of money because what I really want long term is to get KDB, but I don't think I can get to that this game week. So that's probably going to be for over the next few weeks anyway. But that's kind of my thinking, is that I'll have KDB back.
Kevin Mellier, by the way, in the live chat, he's absolutely spot on with this. The Mendy hate on Monday night was absolutely ridiculous. It's easy to spot the non-owners. You could tell. Like, Twitter was just full of like, oh, Mendy's been awful. Yeah, he absolutely shouldn't get 2 bonus points. All his owners, including me, were sitting there going, 8 points from Mendy, happy days, we'll take that. And everyone, the Twitter was going crazy. He shouldn't get 2 bonus points, blah, blah. And then as soon as the 2 bonus points got taken away, yes, quite right, taking it away. And all us owners sort of just shrunk into the background and went, well, look, we'll take the 6. We'll take the 6, because he wasn't very good, so we'll take the 6.
Yeah, so I'm not feeling the love for Mendy at the moment.
You're not. Oh, just say that again out loud.
I'm not feeling the love for Mendy at the moment.
You're not feeling the love for Mendy right now?
No, I feel the love for Edison at the moment. I'm quite happy.
Okay. And you're saying, so you don't fancy the double up at the back then, despite them only conceding 3 goals all season?
Because I feel like that's... I want to invest in a City up top, and I don't want 3, because it goes back to that kind of... Right. I have real issues with having three players of the same team, and I know that everyone will just come out and say, but, you know, when they're playing as well as City are, and yes, I get it. I get all of that. But...
Dylan Nader is saying, I'm not feeling the love for Mendy either, he's saying.
Oh, well, at least there's two of us then.
Go. Bill X is saying
Dylan.
Mendy's going to get a red. I'm feeling it soon, you know. And then Notorious Nerd says Mendy triple assist incoming. So look.
If he gets a triple assist, I'll have to quit. I'll have to delete my team like Aid was saying about.
So at the very least, he seems to be splitting opinion. I must admit, the feeling I get on the Twitter community that there is more love for him than there is hate. I certainly feel like he is a great FPL gift. I just think he's not, even in a game where he played absolutely terrible on that absolutely awful pitch and he almost punched a guy, he still got 6. The guy is just an absolute beast.
Joke.
He's an absolute beast.
It's a joke. He should have got a red card. He should have been suspended.
So for me, I think there is a case, and it's a little case because there's some very, very good captaincy options this game week. But Mendy is a captainable player this week. That is it. Drop the mic. I'm leaving. If any of you guys are thinking of captaining Mendy, I want to hear about it.
Have you lost the actual plot?
The clean sheet is nailed on. Southampton are absolute guff. El Stato will tell you, they haven't scored for 100 years. Terrible. City will get a clean sheet in that game. Therefore, Mendy will get some sort of... he might at least flirt with the bonus points like he did on Monday. And he's got attacking returns in him, right? He is a captainable option. Particularly when you think about how many people are going to captain Aguero, right? So Aguero is going to be the runaway captaincy leader. Now, Aguero is going to get an hour, 70 minutes probably and get hauled off.
And I've got a stat about that.
Of course you have. Go on then.
Last season...
I was just thinking, I bet you've got a stat about that. Go on.
Both matches last season were won by City in added time. Aguero will not be on the pitch to score those goals. They were scored by Jesus and Sterling.
Because it was the last game of the season, wasn't it, Jesus? I remember that.
So...
That's the sort of semi-relevant stat. MUFan TV's not interested in that. He only wants the irrelevant.
Do you know, if Ederson keeps a clean sheet this game week, he'll be the first Premier League keeper to keep 7 clean sheets in a row since Van der Sar back in 08-09.
Very good.
And it will be the first City 7 consecutive clean sheets in their history.
Good. All right.
There you go. There's some stats for you.
Relevant. I like it. All right. So I think we're going home wins for both of those, aren't we? And I'm pretty sure that most people's captains...
Don't captain Mendy. He's lost the plot.
Well, listen.
Although you did say captain Doherty a few weeks ago, and actually that would have paid off.
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest, I mean, you never know with Pep, and we saw it last week with a lot of people vice captaining or even captaining Robertson, and then out of the blue gets a complete rest for no reason at all. I can't see that's going to happen with Mendy. I think City are playing tonight, now, maybe. I don't think Mendy's in the team. So, I think they're playing pretty much a second string 11 there with Jesus up top. So I don't think Mendy's playing. So I'm pretty sure that he's going to play at the weekend. A quick shout out to Steve Wynyard. Thank you, Steve, for supporting the stream and sending a super chat. Really appreciate that. He says Aguero only plays 60 minutes, so is he worth 11 million?
That's my issue exactly, Steve.
Quick word on that. So you're no Aguero.
I haven't had him for a few weeks now.
Okay.
Haven't had him since the Liverpool game because the 60-minute thing really irritates me. And, you know, it got to 60 minutes on Monday night and I said to my mum, who I was at the football with, you watch, Aguero will be off in a minute. And she was like, don't be daft. And I was like, no, watch.
There he goes.
70 minutes he got on Monday night. And
she obviously doesn't play FPL, your mum.
She doesn't play FPL. Although she does watch the stream, she might be watching. Hi, mum. I think for me, the 60-minute thing's really annoying because 11 million of my team taken up by a guy that doesn't play every minute, you know, and is a rotation risk as well. At some point, he will get a rest for Jesus.
Well, he's had it. It's tonight.
But you know what I mean? It's coming up to Christmas where busy scheduling hits, and it's like, well, at some point he will get rested in a game, and then that will annoy me more. So I'm staying away from Aguero at the moment, and I know that could be really harmful to me in terms of he will punish me because he will score goals. However, the 60-minute really frustrates me.
Okay. Average number of points per home game for Aguero, I think, is up in the 7-8 sort of category. So and I appreciate a lot of you guys will be saying, well, he did get one game where he got 20 points, right? But still, he's the go-to captain, isn't he, at home? So we are split on that. We are split on that question. Thank you for that, for sending that in the super chat. My view is he is absolutely worth it, and your view is he's not. He's not. Okay, all right, interesting. Let's head back then to Saturday and cover a couple of these games. Let's talk about the game late on at Molineux versus Wolves versus Spurs. Thoughts on Spurs in that game? How are you feeling about it?
Really positive.
Good. All right.
And I'll tell you for why. I sounded a bit like
You sounded like Uncle Bryn off of Gavin and Stacey. That's what you sound like. You only need a Welsh accent and you'd have been in.
Oh goodness, thank God I didn't try and do one of them. No, I tell you why. It's because on Monday evening, those last 10 minutes when Dele Alli and Eriksen were back on the pitch, we were like a totally different side.
They make a big difference, that's for sure.
And the same last night in that West Ham game. Now, all right, we made 10 changes and Kane had a rest and everything else, but Dele Alli and Christian Eriksen make a massive, massive difference to us, particularly in away games. Christian Eriksen's stats in away games are ridiculous.
Don't forget Son as well, right? Son was particularly good in the Carabao Cup as well.
But I think for me, the Dele and Christian are the drivers. They're going to definitely start. Now, you've got the other three, Sonny and Lamela and Moura, who are more of a rotation risk. Although Moura seems to have kind of nailed himself lately. But Son and Lamela seem to be rotation risks at the moment. You never really know which of them you're going to see. It depends whether you see all of Dembele and Dyer and that as well. So let's see.
So Tommy Gunn in the live chat is sort of backing you up. He's saying Wolves are being figured out now and it's all downhill. So have teams figured them out, or was it just a good win by was it Watford last week that beat Wolves on their own patch? Okay, so
Wolves, they've got no wins against top half teams in the last 25 attempts. I don't know if it's that they've been found out, but I think what Wolves do really well is they defend well. So they go out to defend.
Not in the last couple of games they haven't. They got beaten at home by Watford and then lost to Brighton. Although I will say in that Brighton game, they were pretty unlucky. I mean, we said on Wednesday about how many shots they had and how many chances they created and how much of a superhero Matty Ryan was. And we're talking about Doherty's had 9 attempts on goal in the last 4 games. Probably could have had a goal against that Brighton side. But so I'm not sure I'm with you. I'm not sure that they are as defensively sound as they were sort of 3 or 4 weeks ago. But I'm not going to get off of Doherty clearly with those stats, right?
But I think that is why Wolves have been successful so far since coming up into the Premier League, because they've done the opposite of what Cardiff and Fulham have done, and they've been fairly consistently sure at the back. Okay. All right, the last couple of game weeks have been not great for them in that point of view. But the problem that Wolves have is that they just don't score enough goals. So you go behind. If they go behind, it's unlikely that they're going to come back from it. So the stats, if you look at the stats for Spurs, taking Eriksen for an example, last season, 7 out of his 10 assists came away from home, created 41 chances away from home last season. Sorry.
You need to have a quick, pause, shall we, for a second?
Well, hang on, I've got one more.
Don't let a cough get in the way of a good stat. That's what I always say.
Never let a cough get in the way of life. Spurs unbeaten in the last 38 Premier League matches against promoted sides.
Okay, very good.
So I think, the stats and the way that we played on Monday night, we'll take great comfort from that. The result last night, we played really well against West Ham last night.
So give me a view, given that we are, we're burning through time like you wouldn't believe as usual. You have still got, unbelievably in my mind, you've still got Harry Kane in your team. And MU Fan TV is asking, does Sam still have Kane? Well, you do. So why is what I'd like to know. Why is he still in your team? Yet you don't fancy Aguero at home to Southampton. It's very interesting.
Look, let's be clear. It's not that I
don't... the glasses come off then.
It's
wow.
It's not that I don't... I've just drawn on myself. It's not that I don't fancy Aguero at home to Southampton. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that I fancy somebody like Aubameyang or Lukaku or Firmino or Kane, who's going to get 90 minutes far more than I fancy Aguero, who's going to get 60 minutes.
Okay.
That's my issue with Aguero. It's not him as a player. It's not his potential score returns. It's the 60-minute thing. Kane.
Live chat is brilliant.
Why?
You guys just make me laugh so much. It's like you are so passionate about Spurs. Absolutely unreal. People are just like, get the goggles on. Will Hugo said, here it comes. Get the goggles.
You asked me why I've got Spurs.
So whenever it's Spurs, so every other team, it's like really reasoned argument with some great stats. As soon as Spurs comes on, bang, the glasses come off. You get into.
I've just given you some great stats as to why we're going to win this game.
Hey, listen, I love the stats, but I want to know why you've still got Kane in your team. It's absolutely criminal.
Well, who else should I have?
Aguero, Aubameyang, Firmino, Vardy. Any of those? Lacazette?
Well, okay.
Wilson?
Wilson?
Rondon?
Right. I was with you until you said Wilson. Right, Lacazette and Aubameyang against
Hashtag Sam
Liverpool,
needs a
no
water.
thanks. I do. Lukaku, maybe.
Lukaku?
Who else did you talking about then? Firmino.
You just said Lukaku.
But he's playing against... Well, you've just given me this list, so I'm going through them. Firmino playing against Arsenal, don't really fancy that. And the only real striking option I fancy is Aguero, but I don't want the 60-minute thing. It will annoy me.
Okay. Calm down. Take a breath. Have a bit of water, because you were talking at the speed of light there. For what it's worth, I'll give you my opinion on Kane. I don't think he's worth the money right now. I mean, he's playing far too deep, as we've seen. There's better options in that Spurs side, in my opinion. You've talked about a number of them with Eriksen and Dele Alli and Son coming back. And that's why I mentioned Son, because Son's been out for a while. Yet he's come back, and I appreciate it's in the Carabao Cup, but he's back on the score sheet, right? Back scoring goals again. And
you say that Son's been out for a while, but he's been back since September.
Okay, so he's back scoring goals then, at least,
just been
right?
Sitting on the bench.
Okay, so he's back scoring goals. Do I think that there's an opportunity for Spurs to get a hatful against Wolves? No, I don't think so. I think we've already seen that Wolves are pretty solid. Do I think that Spurs can win that game? Yeah, for sure, because I don't know if Wolves have been found out per se. But you're right, they're not prolific up front. If they go behind, if Spurs go 1-0 up in that game, then Wolves are chasing it, and that's difficult against a team that have got a bit of defensive solidity like Spurs. I do worry about your goalkeeper a little bit. I don't think Lloris has been all that great in the last few weeks, but in general, Spurs are a good side, a well-drilled outfit. And Trippier, for example, has created something that is top for chances created in defenders the last 9 chances created. So those fullbacks continue to bomb on. The likes of the bigger players coming back into the side now. So that will be a very, very interesting game from both a Premier League and an FPL perspective to watch, for sure. Let's move on. Let's talk about Everton versus Brighton very briefly. Thoughts on some newfound resilience, actually, for Brighton. It's 3 clean sheets back to back, albeit, as we mentioned before, maybe a bit lucky to keep clean sheets in some of those games, including Wolves. Can Matty Ryan get another 9 or 10 pointer away at Everton, or are we expecting somebody like Sigurdsson, who's created 14 chances in his last 4 games, to provide the bullets for the likes of Walcott and Richarlison and Bernard and Tosin and people like that? What's your view on the game?
So the stats suggest that it'll be an Everton victory. Everton unbeaten in the last 4 Premier League matches with Brighton. Here's a real random one for you, Emmy Fan TV. 7 of the last 8 goals in these fixtures have been scored in the second half.
That's brilliant, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant. Okay, great. Thanks for that stat, Sam. So I don't really know where to take it from there. I fancy Everton to win that game. I think they're on a nice little streak right now. They do need to sort out this Richarlison placement thing. We're not going to go over that again. He does look better wide. There's no doubt about it. But I think Silva sees him as the main man, and he wants to fit Bernard in as well. And Bernard's had a few games now to get up to speed in the Premier League. So yeah. I'm thinking that's going to help a little bit. I'm going to pause there because another super chat from FPL Ant. Thank you, FPL Ant, for supporting the stream. He says, who do I bench out of Fraser, Lacazette and Doherty? Well, I don't think you bench Lacazette at all. So I think it's Fraser or Doherty.
Doherty.
Tough one, I think. Tough one. Well, Doherty is so creative going forward, and Spurs fullbacks do like to push on. So can Doherty benefit from that? Yeah, maybe. But
Fraser's
I also back Bournemouth to do well at home to Manchester United. So maybe we'll come to the Bournemouth fixture in a minute and answer your question in a bit more detail, FPL Ant. But it's between Fraser and Doherty. I'd be really, really reluctant to bench Doherty. I really would. So it's a tough one. Let's finish up on Everton versus Brighton.
My Jammy Pick comes from this game, by the way.
Okay, we'll come to Jammy Picks at the end of the stream. Anything else to say about Everton Brighton? I'm going to go a home win there, but I'm going to go a slender home win. I can't see that Brighton keep 4 clean sheets back to back. It's entirely possible, of course.
Yeah, if they do, there'll be the first. If they win this game 1-0, by the way, Brighton, yeah,
more stats.
Yeah, this is a good one. If they win this game by one goal to 0, they'll be the first club to win 4 consecutive games 1-0 since Leicester the year they won the league.
Fabulous.
And Glenn Murray is the only player to score more than half of his team's goals so far this season.
Okay. Excellent and completely irrelevant. Love it, as usual. So I'm going home win in that game. Let's go to the Bournemouth game then and answer FPL Ant's question in a bit more detail. So Bournemouth, Well, they're a revelation this year. Frankly, they're a revelation.
They are,
I mean, going forward, I mean, defensively look pretty good as well, actually. Well, they look good enough. Let's say good enough. And I noticed that Francis got injured, I think, the other night in was it the Carabao Cup game the other night? So they got to maybe find a replacement for him. But going forward, I mean, they just look creative. They look incisive. They're creating a lot of chances. Wilson's missing a lot of chances as well as scoring a lot of chances. So let's focus on Fraser then in particular. So what do you make of and FPL Guru, we will come back to your question. Thank you for supporting the stream. We'll come back to that in a second. I'm going to write it down before it disappears. Kane as a differential captain or play safe with Hazard. So captains, we're absolutely going to talk about captains.
Kane or Hazard,
FPL
basically.
Guru. Thank you for that question. Bournemouth attack then. Do you think they can score against Manchester United?
Yes.
I absolutely do. I think United are there for the taking in that game, in that Bournemouth game. I really do.
It's Bournemouth at home as well. If it was at Old Trafford, I'd maybe see it differently. But Bournemouth at home are playing really well this season. It's not an easy place for United to go.
It's not at all.
And United defensively haven't looked solid at all this season. But yet Bournemouth attacking-wise have looked really good. So for me, the likes of Brooks and Fraser and Wilson and King, if he's back and available, I'm not sure on that one. They've got more than enough to score against that United defence. Now, do I think that United can also score against Bournemouth? Yes, I do. But most people who own Bournemouth assets own attacking Bournemouth assets.
Sure.
So I'd play them, and I will be playing Fraser in that game.
Yeah, and I know that you guys in the live chat are saying there's a lot of talk about the fixtures for Bournemouth toughening up, and that's a fact. You can't get around that. The fixtures do look tougher. So if you look at them, it's United, then Newcastle, Arsenal, Man City. So there's a lot of red on that ticker. But as I think I said on the last live stream, some of that red is actually more pink in my opinion. I mean, the United game at home I think is not a red game. Arsenal at home, we talked about how many big chances Arsenal give away and how many big chances Bournemouth create. So put those two situations together and you potentially get something nice with Bournemouth again.
There's a nice game against Newcastle in the middle of that.
Newcastle were just shambolic, so that's home or away you can get at them. All right, City away is very, very difficult, and then Huddersfield at home. So 4 of the next 5, I don't think look too bad. I would really think twice about selling your Bournemouth assets, your attacking assets, before this run of games. Don't you think?
I'm holding my Bournemouth assets indefinitely. I mean, I've only got Fraser, and I think potentially if I had 2, I might contemplate losing one of them in order to kind of get on with some of the teams that have got good runs of fixtures, but I'm holding my Bournemouth asset.
Yeah, Dom J is saying only game to worry about for Bournemouth is Man City away. I think you're right about that, Dom. And Leo is saying fixtures for Bournemouth really aren't that bad attacking wise. Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think you're right. Nymphria is saying thanks for joining, Nymphria. She's saying I crawled back to Wilson last week. I can't believe you've done that, Nymphria. And she says, am I doing it? He is never ever coming back in my team, Nymphria. Never ever coming back.
I guarantee at some stage this season
he'll be back. There's no doubt about it. I've got Fraser right now. I'm just happy to have Fraser. I think I'm going to stick with him despite those fixtures looking difficult. I'm with Leo. I don't think they're as difficult as they look on paper.
No, I agree.
I shall be sticking. And from a Man United perspective, I think Pogba right now is top for XG. So you guys that like the XG stat, Pogba's potentially been a bit unlucky not to score, and I think some of that was down to maybe the penalty miss. I know he got the rebound, but the penalty miss will factor into that. Thoughts on United in terms of, you've already said they can get goals against Bournemouth, that's for sure, but they don't seem to have that sort of cohesion and certainly at the back, I think 1 clean sheet so far this season, so not altogether looking great for United.
So Lukaku likes a goal against Bournemouth historically, scored 6 in the last 3 Premier League matches versus Bournemouth.
Okay, so he likes playing them.
So he does enjoy playing them. Now, the issue for me is, who is playing? Who's going to play in this game for United? Is it? I mean, Pogba and Martial seem to be dead certs. Is Rashford going again, or is it Lukaku this time? Is who is the best United team at the moment? And that's where the kind of quandaries lie, doesn't it? I think when it comes to United from a fantasy point of view, because I don't fancy any of them defensively. So it seems really to have come down to a choice between, well, probably it's Pogba and Martial. They seem to be the most now.
Yeah, Martial's pretty popular, isn't he? You can see why. He's at a kind of nice-ish sort of price point at 7.2. Might have even gone up a 0.1 to 3 now. So yes, for me, I still think that I don't put any faith or trust in Mourinho, despite Martial looking like the player that we all think he is. And he looks great, right? He looks really, really great. But what I just wouldn't be surprised if Mourinho just drops him for Sanchez for this game. I just wouldn't. It just wouldn't surprise me. So
the thing is,
I just can't trust it.
No, and you can't, and that's my issue, right? Because how long are the likes of Sanchez and Lukaku going to sit on a bench? I mean, it can't go on indefinitely, can it? So,
no.
From an FPL point of view, I don't fancy Man United on that basis.
Okay, all right. A couple of words about some of the other games that are going on. So, clearly, both football and FPL really, really insignificant in the game at the weekend. I know there's a lot of talk about potentially whether they were going to play that game or not at Cardiff, Leicester City. I'm actually pleased to see it going ahead. I think he and the other guys that were the accident would want the Leicester City team to play in that fixture, is my opinion. And from what I've read on Twitter, the Leicester players seem proper up for going out there and giving a performance that he would have been proud of. And it's on that basis that, I think that I think they'll be in good shape. They'll go out with the right sort of mentality in that Cardiff game. I don't want to talk about it too much because it's really insignificant, but I fancy Leicester to really put Cardiff to the sword at the weekend. I really do.
I do, to the point where I seriously contemplated, and I have at the moment got my vice on Maddison, because I feel like Maddison, if there's ever going to be a game where Leicester City smash somebody, it's this weekend.
I just think there could be a real emotional reaction there. Yeah. Particularly from Vardy. I mean, if you see some of the images of the the ceremony they had at the stadium and what have you, there were some players that were really cut up, and Vardy was visibly moved by it all, and I wonder whether he might just channel that in the right way. So I think we're back in an away win in that game. Arnautovic to come back from his illness at home to Burnley. Do you fancy the
was
the
back
West
last
Ham?
night, wasn't he?
He did, and did he play the full game or get a bit of a cameo? I think it might even have been a little bit of a cameo, maybe a 20 minutes or so. But what do you fancy in that game? I fancy a home win.
I do too. Although interestingly, I don't see it necessarily being that high scoring, because these two goalkeepers have made more saves, the most saves in the league this year, 44.
Yeah, Fabianski loves the save, doesn't he? Yeah,
Fabianski and Joe Hart both level on 44 saves this season. So, the keepers, if they continue as they have been, you should be getting, some decent save points out of your keepers.
I certainly fancy Arnautovic now. I mean, I've kept him for the last couple of weeks and, did a real bad transfer to do Wilson to Arnautovic a few weeks ago. But I'm going to not be emotional about it. I'm going to put all of my hatred of Wilson to one side and just accept that Arnie's missed those games or played and got booked or whatever. But the fixtures look good now, so I'm happy to have him.
Going to get you a Callum Wilson t-shirt.
I'm hoping he's going to do the business for me.
Do you know who I really fancy taking a punt on?
Go on.
Snodgrass.
God, do you really?
Yeah.
Really there's a few on Twitter that fancy Snodgrass
really
as well. I'm not
fancy
convinced.
him. So he's created 6 chances in game weeks 9 and 10, which is more than any other player in West Ham team. He's had 4 shots in those 2 games, only betted by Arnie over the course of the season. 0.1% owned. The fixtures look great. I just really fancy a cheeky punt on him with Yarmolenko out, and who else is missing? Somebody else.
I think he fills in for Yarmolenko.
He's going to be nailed on for the next 5 months. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about Balbuena at the back as well for West Ham. Obviously got the goal last week, and I think the underlying stats look pretty good. I haven't got them in front of me, but Twitter and the FF Scout community pretty hot and keen on Balbuena as well at 4.4. I think super cheap. Super cheap. And we keep talking about these West Ham fixtures. The Hammers have got to be. I think Pellegrini's got to be looking at those fixtures and going, well, if we're ever going to go on a run, it's got to be these. And there's a nasty game against City in a couple of weeks, but outside of that, looks really, really good up until even beyond Christmas. So more than happy to have Arnautovic. And one of the transfers I'm looking at this week is a West Ham defender. So before we go to transfers and captains and jammy picks, a quick word on Watford and Newcastle. I don't want to talk about Newcastle at all, but from Watford, you've got some stats, or you've had a look at Isaac's success and potentially what he's been doing over the last couple of weeks.
He's my transfer this week.
Oh, so that's the one you've done?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've done it for a couple of reasons. So I know that I've potentially just enrolled myself in a player that plays 10 minutes of games.
Sure.
However, at 4.5, it's the money that I need to be able to upgrade some of my other assets, which are in desperate need of upgrading. Plus, Troy Deeney we don't know yet whether he's going to be fit to play at the weekend. And even if he is fit to play at the weekend, Watford played so well in those last 2 games.
I think Grazia come out and quoted something along the lines of he's getting there, he's probably not going to be ready for this weekend, but he's close. So he is due back pretty imminently. Do you think that's a problem for success?
Maybe. But even before the injury to Deeney, he was still at least playing some minutes in games. And to be honest, I had Danny Ings sitting there who was doing nothing.
Equally rubbish at the moment.
And taking up an extra million. So, I've got Danny Ings who's going to spend an extra million of my budget, and he's going to get the same level of points as Success if he just comes on for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
that's where I am.
I can definitely see the Success piece. I mean, he's top for forwards in the last couple of weeks, 5 shots. He's in the top 5 forwards, I should say. Sorry, guys. So he's right up there in that top bracket for forwards in the last couple of weeks. 5 shots and 4 chances created. So not only is he getting shots on target, but he's being very creative about what he's doing as well. And as a few of you guys are saying, Kevin Mellier is saying Success is an enabler. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Josh96, I might start Success.
Well, I'm going to play him this week on the basis that if he does play, it's Newcastle.
It's a good fixture. It's a good fixture. Michelle is saying Success hat-trick this weekend. I don't know about that, Michelle, nice. But you never know. Steve Wynyard, Success is a gamble, but maybe worth it. Yes, there's a lot of love for Isaac's Success out there.
I think Steve is right. He is a gamble. I know that. Taking him on, I know that. But at 4.5, for a player that is going to get some minutes in every game, and probably, even if he just plays for 1 minute, will get the same number of points as Danny Ings was getting me for playing the whole game. I'm prepared to take that risk on him, particularly for this Newcastle game, because if Deeney's not fit and therefore Success starts, there's points in that.
Okay, there's definitely a change of mood in Watford since the last international break. I think Grazia used that couple of weeks to really have a look at his squad and what he was going to do. Looked at a different system. He knew he had Deulofeu coming back, who I think is a far better pick than Success, by the way. But we haven't really got time to talk about
I didn't have the money
Deulofeu.
for Deulofeu without doing Success. That was my problem.
Yeah, so I think there's, for me, I think Deulofeu is better. But look, I mean, Success, yes, you guys have said it right. He is an enabler. He's just as... looks better actually than Ings in the last couple of weeks, and he's $1 million cheaper. So if you need that $1 million desperately to go and invest elsewhere, you want a Mendy, you want Alonso, you want that that back line, the Ram back line, or KDB, then maybe getting that $1 million is the right thing to do. A super chat from FPL Dad. Thank you, FPL Dad, for joining. He's saying loving the weekly streams. Keep up the good work. So thank you for sponsoring the stream. Very very kind of you.
We need to cover the Kane and Hazard one. We do that.
We do. So why don't we talk about that now in terms of captains? I'm going to bring up my team and show you guys where I am. I need to zoom out on my browser a little bit so we can see that in a bit more detail. That's probably better for you guys, isn't it? Let's do that. So that is the team as it is right now. My captain in my bus team, thanks to the cheaters for lending us that phrase. I love that phrase. My bus team captain is Aguero. I'm absolutely considering Hazard for sure, as I think you are as well. Haven't done any transfers yet, guys. I've got 2 transfers in the bank, so I've got to use one of them, right? I don't want to burn a transfer, despite the fact that I think FPL Holly did burn a transfer last game week and ended up with 90 odd points. So there is definitely a case for burning a transfer. But right now, I'm reasonably happy with my team. We've talked through the Maddison and Richarlison dynamic and what they're doing and what they're not doing. But with those fixtures, Cardiff for Maddison and for Bournemouth at home for Richarlison, I definitely want to watch them for at least one more week, those guys. I'm happy with my back 3. I've got the Ram back 3, which a lot of people are trying to get to, so I'm happy that I'm there already. Foster in goal has been a superhero for the last couple of weeks, and away at Newcastle, I think they absolutely could get another clean sheet there. And Aguero and Arnautovic up front, and then the bench even looks pretty good. I mean, Wan Biscuits, bless him, is their third sub, and will continue to be until the Palace fixtures toughen up. From a transfer perspective, I'm thinking about doing some really boring stuff. Like I may do Hennessy to either Ryan or Fabianski. That could be a transfer to do. Because Brighton's fixtures look pretty good still for a few weeks, and then Fabianski's look good as well. So I've got to have a look at the rotations. So Hennessy might be a bit of a casualty of my 2 free transfers. Or indeed I could do the Ings to Success move if I want to do that and save $1 million. I don't fancy it. I just feel like Success will go back to being a 10-minute bench player once Deeney and indeed Gray are knocking about. But I did hear, I think they said it on the Scoutcast, or maybe it was in the Who Got the Assist pod. He was talking about how success was, a 20 goal a season striker when he's in the Nigerian youth team. He was banging in goals, but his attitude wasn't right. His head wasn't right mentally. But now he's 22. He's working under a manager that believes in him. He's got some mentors within the club. I think there's people looking after him. And I think they're looking for him to go back to what he was when he was in the Nigerian under-21. So, yeah, could do Ings to success to just save some money. But right now, I'm a bit undecided, which I think is a good thing. Because I'm pretty happy with the team. So that is it. That's what I'm going with right now. That's my bus team. Doherty on the bench, guys. Right now, Doherty on the bench. That might change, but right now,
that's what
he's first sub. He's first sub. So Captain Aguero for me. So we go back to the question that we had about. I think the question was about Kane being a differential captain. So
he definitely is that.
While you give a bit of rhetoric on that, let me find your team because you have got Kane. So it's possible that you could captain him.
And it is possible I could captain him. What do I think about Kane as a captain this week? The problem is it's Wolves. And whilst I think we will win that game, I don't see us rioting. So
no.
I think that, yes, Kane could score in that game, but is he going to get more than one? Unlikely. Will or could Hazard get more than one in his game against Palace? Yes. And therefore I'd captain Hazard over Kane this week.
Okay, all right. So out of all the players that you've got in your team, you fancy Hazard then, yeah? Out of yours?
Yeah, so that's my last week's team.
So I'm rather than logging out and logging in, this is just your team, but you've got Ings out for success already. That's a transfer you've done already.
Yes, so because I have 2 free transfers this week, but I don't think I'm going to use them both. I think I'm going to roll now until next week and then have a little mini wild card to sort out KDB and various other things for next week.
You really want KDB, don't you?
I do really want KDB, yeah. So captain this week is going to be Hazard. I've got my vice at the moment on Maddison because, like I say, I really do fancy Leicester to kind of put Cardiff to the sword at the weekend.
I do, yeah.
And then I'll be playing Jimenez, Success and Kane up top.
Yeah, okay, very good. All right. The team's in good shape, I think. Except for, I think I'd want some Man City attacking coverage with that game at home to Southampton. I think, again, it's who do you have? But I think I'd want somebody in there for sure. All right, so that's your team. Let's talk about Jammy Picks. So while I find the community's input into Jammy Picks, do you notice I had a Christmassy Costa today?
Was it a pump?
Do you know what it was? It was.
What is it you like?
I like the pumpkin spice latte, but it was a caramelised orange latte.
Oh.
But you could also have a caramelised orange hot chocolate. If you wanted
can
to.
you?
Yeah, that is a thing.
Did it sound like a terry chocolate orange? Did it taste like that?
It tasted a bit like that, but with a coffee twang. It's very nice. Anyway,
I don't like coffee.
Anyway, FPL. Jammy Picks. Go on then. So, who is your Jammy Pick for this week?
So it's Michael Keane.
Michael Keane. Okay, I like it. It's random. I like it. Go on.
Obviously from Everton. 4.9 million selected by 1.9% of the game.
Okay.
14 shots so far this season. Only beaten by Doherty and Alonso, who have got 18. In his 8 appearances so far, he's had 2 assists and a goal. 14 headed shots, which is top for FPL defenders.
Really?
Yeah. And they're playing against a Brighton side who have conceded 29 headed shots. So they're in the bottom 3 for that.
Check you out with those stats. So it's a team that are weak defensively in the air against a team and a player that are good. He's good in the air. Okay, very good. All right.
So Michael Keane.
Michael Keane for Everton. All right, very interesting. I like that. So what's his TSB? Very, very jammy, isn't he?
No, 1.9. So not that jammy.
1.9. Well, that's still pretty jammy. That is pretty jammy. Let's see what you guys in the community are saying. Anwinit, if you're in, thank you for joining. Anwinit, he tweeted earlier to say Alex Pritchard owned by 0% versus Fulham, so literally not owned by anyone. Alex Pritchard against that Fulham defence. So yeah, absolutely, I would back anybody to do well against that Fulham defence. Mark Ellison is saying Etienne Capoue. Nice, okay, I like it. Luke Walkinshaw, thank you, Luke, if you're here, for responding to the tweet. He says Philip Billing to get a long throw-in assist against a shocking Fulham defence. Yeah,
could happen.
Do you know, I've got a sneaky feeling, guys. Don't record this, anybody. And definitely don't broadcast it on YouTube. I'm going for a Fulham clean sheet this weekend. I'm going for a Fulham clean sheet this weekend, and I'll tell you for why. Because I'm going to use that phrase that you used, a Fulham clean sheet. Because Huddersfield are just as bad. And I'm expecting Tom Kearney. I don't think Vietto is back, but they miss Kearney and Vietto like you wouldn't believe in that Fulham team. Well, I think you're right to bench Kearney because I don't think he's going to be any good FPL-wise. But from a Fulham perspective, he is going to shore up that midfield and help them retain the ball. That's their big problem.
So, why talking about Fulham, though? Sessegnon could become the youngest player to score in consecutive away matches since Rooney in 2004.
Very good. All right, we've had loads of nonsense stats tonight. Thank you for that. So Tom Kearney, I think, holds the ball far better when he's playing. I think Vieto does that as well. But if he plays and if he's match fit again, he will make a difference. Fulham clean sheet. Fulham clean sheet. Mark my words. Fulham clean sheet. All sorts of people saying, Lee, are you drunk? Lee, is everything all right? It's a Fulham clean sheet.
It's that Christmas latte. It's gone to his head.
It's the Christmas latte. It's gone to my head. Fulham clean sheet. You heard it here for... No, you didn't hear it from me.
Being out with Tim Ream.
Yeah, I'm back in Tim Ream. What's going on? I'll be saying Moreno's a player next. Mr. FPL at FPL_Liam is saying Gabbiadini. Goodness me, that's a random jammy pick. Absolutely love that. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Lucas Digne. Now there's a nice jammy pick from Shashank. I like that. Very, very good indeed. I like that. Clarky _17 is saying Wijnaldum. Okay, very good. What else? We've got Snodgrass, who we've mentioned on this live chat, on this live stream already. Antonio Rudiger. Okay, fair enough. There's a few. Easily Snodgrass. Blimey. Michael Keane. Dylan Naidu. There we go. You've got somebody agree with you. Michael Keane. Let's give that a little like. Bop. There we go. How about Mahrez? 2.8% ownership. Southampton at home. Rushiel Jossi is saying, there you go. Mahrez, goodness me,
yeah, Mahrez is
Unreal.
another one that I quite fancy from City.
Unreal. Another one for Digne, another one for Success down there. David Brooks. There's a few good jammy picks there. A few good jammy picks. I do like Michael Keane. That is really, really random. And I do like Snodgrass, and I do like...
I'm taking the jammy piles a bit more seriously the last few weeks.
Digne. I do like Digne. He looks particularly attacking, doesn't he? And I'm pretty sure they're going to get a clean sheet Everton in that game. So I do like that. Guys, some good jammy picks there. Thank you for everybody that responded to my tweet earlier on. Let's do the polls before we go. The polls. Here we go. You can answer these today. Best central defender in FPL: Virgil van Dijk, Laporte, Rudiger, Stones, or Ake?
Laporte. You said I could answer it. If I was going to have one of them, I'd have Laporte.
Laporte is better than Virgil. You are having a laugh.
If I was going to have one from an FPL point of view, I'd have Laporte over those, yes.
Oh, in FPL. Okay, all right. Okay, maybe.
Didn't say that he was a better...
Yeah, okay, maybe. Well, Rudiger, Stones and Ake getting absolutely no love from you guys. 0%. Virgil's getting 64. Laporte in at 35. Might even tend to agree with you, actually. In real life, if you want real life, Virgil is easily the best out of those.
It's not what you asked.
But in FPL, maybe it's Laporte.
You
because
about
his
FPL.
ball distribution and he's fancied, I think, because of his left foot, etc., etc. So, yeah, okay. Rushiel Joshi says, Lee, time to get the Liverpool goggles on. Maybe we need some. Yeah, maybe
we're going to buy him some for Christmas. And a Callum Wilson t-shirt.
Best 5.5 to 6 million mid right now. Fraser, Barkley, Knockaert, Schürrle or Goodmanson? Fraser, okay, 50% over half so about half the guys agreeing with you on Fraser. 33% Barkley, 16 Goodmanson, and 0 for Knockaert and Schürrle. If you had to drop one, and you would clearly not going to drop either of these two before the fixtures they've got this game week, but if you had to drop one, who would you drop, Richarlison or Maddison?
All day long, Richarlison.
Outrageous. Wow, okay.
I'm not on board with this Richarlison thing at all.
Wow. Why not?
No. So no from me.
All right. If you had to drop one, it's Richarlison. They agree with you, apparently. 58% agree with you. 41% say Maddison. Game week 11 captain: Aguero, Salah, Hazard, Arnautovic or Sterling?
Is this who I think I'm captaining or who's the best?
No, this is who you think is the best captain, whether he's in or out of your team.
Sterling.
Savage. Aguero, 66%, which is the clear answer in that poll, Sam. Not Sterling. Aguero, 66%. Hazard.
They only play 60 minutes and they score in the end of extra time.
Hazard at 16%. Salah at 8, Sterling at 8, and Arnautovic at 0. So there we go. That is the polls, guys. Thank you for participating in the polls. So that is it, guys. Thank you for joining us, as ever. Remind us of the jammy pick. It is Michael Keane. He's in 1.9% TSB. A lovely jammy pick like that. And what's his price?
4.9.
Oh, not even 5. 4.9. So he's actually a nice little differential there. So very, very good. That's the jammy pick. Captain for me is going to be Aguero. Captain for you is going to be
Hazard.
Okay, very good.
Had to really think for a minute then.
Got to be Hazard, doesn't it? Got to be Hazard. So, guys, thank you for joining. As ever, that is the end of another episode of FPL Family. Great having you along. Thank you to everybody that super chatted. There's loads of super chats tonight. Brilliant. So, thank you guys for supporting the stream. We love you to do that. It's really kind of you. If you would go and hit the like button as well, we'd love you to hit that little thumbs up and go and like the video, and also subscribe if you haven't already. Go and hit that sub button. We are somewhere in the region of about 3,100 and something, maybe 3,200 and something. So the subs are going up, guys. So we really appreciate that. A quick shout out to some good friends of ours, Nick and Tom from Who Got the Assist, are on the FPL show tonight as we speak. They are filming right now, probably finished. So we want all of you guys to go and tune in to Nick and Tom's appearance on the FPL show, which will be on the FPL app tomorrow. Normally comes out at sort of 9:30, 10 o'clock, something like that. So go and check out the boys on there. If you're not following them on Twitter already, at WGTA_FPL, Who Got the Assist _FPL, and their pods are an absolute must listen every week. So go check those guys out. That is it, guys. Like, subscribe, follow us at FPL Family on Twitter, at FPL Family on Instagram,
and Facebook.
At Facebook. Don't forget the flipping Facebook. Good luck in game week. I've forgotten where we are. 11. Good luck in game week 11, and we will see you in our usual regular Sunday night slot at 8 p.m. Until then, good night. See you next time.
Good night, guys. Green arrows.